Okay, hello gang, it's been a while since I uploaded anything, and today's video is just me wanting to share with you guys where I have been and other life and reading updates. So I guess we can start from the end of January. So at the end of January, I wanted to create a glow up or get my shit together series on my channel because I'll be turning 32 at that time soon. In January, by the way, this is already April. And my life hasn't gone the way I envisioned it, and I was honestly in a rut. I thought that by documenting my glow up, where I document my journey to applying for jobs in the hopes of getting a new job, to my work, my training and workouts for my Mount Kiki climb, to whatever else I had planned, would give me a sense of purpose in life. Because at this point, I had been unemployed for a few months, and the stress was honestly getting to me. I was depressed and my anxiety had gone through the roof. I was hoping that by doing this series, it'll give me something productive to do, and I didn't really mind being slightly more vulnerable on my channel because, let's be honest, nobody really watched my videos anyway. But I made the mistake of saying all these plans out loud with full optimism, along with a treasure trove of hopes and dreams. Because the moment I said that, Calamity struck. I say this because it was as if God had heard my plans for life and said, hold my eye, Zamzam, because this bitch has the audacity to want to improve her life. I say this again because as soon as I vocalized my wants and needs to the universe, my hometown was hit by a terrible flood that honestly killed a few people, which was caused by non-stop heavy rain that lasted for days. Days. I am telling you, I have never seen the amount of rain in Miri for that long. Like, yes, Miri is, Malaysia and Sarawak is like a tropical country, so having rain for a day or two is okay, it's normal. But I have never seen like non-stop heavy pouring, like just downpour for hours and hours and just days. It was honestly shocking. At first it was fun because it's like, rain is fun, rain is cool, you can get to play in the rain and all that. But after a few hours and you see the water level rising, that you're just kind of like, okay, it's gonna stop soon, right? No, it did not stop soon. It stopped a few days later, and by that time it's already too late. So anyways, the houses in my neighborhood were just absolutely flooded, and some houses the water reached to the roof, the actual roof. I mean, like, Miri is still better off than Bintulu, because Bintulu, my god, if you've seen the videos, I'm gonna share here if I can find it. If you see the videos, it was just horrific. It was just absolutely horrific. Houses were just gone. Cars, you don't even talk about cars. Cars is just like a lost cause. Everything was just a lost cause. It was bad. So yeah. So anyways, yeah, I had to use a sampan, which is kind of like a small boat, to even get near my house during the flood, because I was stuck at my sister-in-law's house. And the reason for that is because it had been raining for like 12 hours straight already at that time, and I didn't want to go out of my house at that time because I was like thinking, it has been raining all day, like I don't want to go out of the house right now. But on that day, I had made a promise to my best friend that we were going to watch Singles Inferno together at her office, and I was just like, okay, I made a promise and I'm just gonna go and then I'm gonna come back, it's chill. So I braved this little semi-flood that was already in my neighborhood. Like, my god, honestly, when I wanted to get out of, like, when I was going on the road to get out of my neighborhood, it was already flooding. But I didn't think that the water was already that high. So by the time my car actually reached the waters, it was already too late for me to actually reverse back and go back home. And I didn't want to be a chicken. I didn't want to be a bitch, basically, and just show that I had made a mistake. So instead, I just went through, which is why I say my car has been through a lot. I'll get more into that because it went through even more. So yes, Beza can really withstand floodwaters. So I braved through the floodwaters and I went to Lutong and I watched Singles Inferno. And the whole time I was also slowly being more anxious because the rain is continuing. it stopped raining for a while, but then it continued at night, and it just got heavier and heavier, and it just rained for hours on end. So by that time, I told my mom, like, hey, I don't think I can come back, because it was already pretty flooded when I went out of the house that morning, or like that afternoon. So I was like thinking, if it's already that flooded when I went out, it's gonna be worse by the time I'm going to come back, right? So I told her, like, okay, I'm going to go to either my cousin's house or my sister-in-law's house. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to my sister-in-law's house, because I know my brother's not gonna be there, and if anything happens, my sister-in-law is going to be alone. So I thought, yeah, let's just go to my sister-in-law's house, because, you know, for fun. So, oh my god, who's texting me? Let me check. Anyways, so yeah, I went to my sister-in-law's house, and lo and behold, I got stuck there for a few days, which brings me to another reason, like another tangent of my story, because I got obsessed with K-drama during the flood, but that's another, that is like the catalyst of how I started to be into K-dramas in the first place, is because during the flood, I had nothing to do. I couldn't go out. Basically, all I could do was just Netflix and chill. So I started watching Queen of Tears, and I loved it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch all the K-dramas that I've always wanted to watch before this, and I did. That is the start of my K-drama phase, but that's not the point. The point was, I was stuck in my sister-in-law's place, and then I could finally go back home. But even then, I had to use a sampan to get in. But thankfully, back to the story finally, but thankfully, my house was not like badly affected. It was still like, it's still pretty bad, because it's still flooded in the middle of my living room. I'm gonna show a video somewhere here. I think I still have that video. It was flooded in the living room because my living room kind of had this pond-ish architecture towards it, and then it's not flood water. It's like water. Okay, technically it's flood water, because the longkang outside of my house is already filled with water. And then the water had nowhere else to go except up to the orifices. Oh my god. Basically, it went up through the toilet, okay? The water went into the toilet and it flooded the middle of my living room. That is the point of where I was getting at. So it's not as bad as other houses, where other houses in my neighborhood, it's like the first floor is completely underwater, but my own house, it still took like a few weeks to clean everything. So I couldn't grab for a few weeks, like two weeks-ish, because I was too scared, number one, to drive around in Miri, because it's like, I mean, a lot of roads were closed, plus a few weeks after the flood, there was like a dead body that was discovered. So it's a bit scary to drive around at that time. And then when I did grab, I couldn't do it fully because the house was a mess and it just smelled of rotting wood. And if me and my mom didn't settle it as soon as possible, it's just going to get worse. So all in all, I couldn't grab for almost a month, at least not the usual grab hours I usually do. And then finally the day came where I told myself, okay, the house is somewhat settled. The water has been cleared for the most of the roads in Miri, so driving is relatively safe now. I decided that this is finally my time to shine, to get back to grabbing to my usual hours, and finally get some money in my bank account to pay my bills. Anyways, this one night, after I filled in my gas tank and was ready to pick up a passenger for grab, my car was hit from the behind. From the behind, yes. I mean, yes, you heard that right. I was in a car accident. Not only the dude hit me twice, as if the first time wasn't bad enough, he kind of wanted to blame me because he kept saying that I kept hitting the brakes as I was going out of this junction. Because he said like this, "Nyamadah te aku to selalu break je sia." Tapi the thing is, there was only two of us at this junction. It was the middle of the night. And I know it was the middle of the night because I still have that grab receipt of that passenger still waiting for me. I canceled the job, by the way, because obviously, duh. It was the middle of the night and there was only two of us on the road. And there's 3 lanes. I don't understand why if he was that in a rush, right, Because every time cars are in a rush on the road in Miri, I just assume they need to poop, It's like a pooping emergency. So I was like thinking, why didn't he just go to the next lane beside me? There's only two of us on the road, basically. Like, I don't understand. Why did you have to hit my car? I don't get it. So that's not the point. The point is my car was totaled at the butt. And it was bad. I thought it wasn't bad, but it was absolutely horrific. I mean, like, the reason why I didn't say that my car, when it was hit by the other car, was bad was because it's like, the worst accident that I was in was when a coconut tree fell on top of my car. And that's honestly a story for a different day. But just let it be known that a coconut tree fell on top of my car. So that is my reference of a bad accident on top of my car, where half of my car was completely smashed, right? So when I see the boot of my car and it's just like dented in, I just thought like, okay, no biggies. You just need to, give it a few thwacks and it's gonna be okay, right? That's what I thought. This is why you need to go to a professional. This is why you need to go to somebody who knows something about cars, because in my mind, it's not that bad, right? So the next day, I brought my car to my brother's place, because I thought like, okay, my brother knows about cars. He probably knows a few people. He knows what to do. He's going to tell me what to do, right? So I went to his house and I said like, it's not that bad, right? It's not that bad, right? No. He just gave it a look and he just said, yeah, it's pretty bad actually. And that's it. And he just walked away because honestly, he was shocked into silence. And then I was just like, well, shit. Well, absolute shit. Because if my brother says it's bad, it's probably going to cost me at least 2,000 ringgit. And mind you, I only had like 20 ringgit at that time. And that 20 ringgit is just for me to buy gas. I was that broke. Unemployment and recession is really hitting me hard, guys, okay? So my sister-in-law saw that I was pretty upset. You can suffice to say that I looked pretty upset. So she said to me like, hey, Eza, your car's already totaled, shit's already hit the fan. Let's just go have fun. Let's go for steamboat, have fun. Like, let's just live in the now. You only live once. Let's live in the now. Let's not think about what has happened, what's going to happen. Let's just enjoy dinner. So I was like thinking, you know what? You're absolutely correct. There is no point of me worrying about the past, the future, the present. Like, let's just go have dinner and I'm just going to enjoy myself, because right now there is no point of me just worrying because nothing's going to get done. I'm too broke for shit anyway. So let's just go. So me and my sister-in-law and my niece went for steamboat and I had the best time of my life, honestly. We had good food, I had good company, and it was chills. Life was looking good at that point. So fast forward to me going back to my house that night. I think I arrived at home like 10-ish. I chilled a bit more at my sister-in-law's house. Chilled a bit more, hung out for a bit, and then I left. And by the time I arrived home, my stomach was not feeling very good. And I knew that feeling. It was the feeling of the start of food poisoning. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that right again. I got food poisoning. And the reason why I got food poisoning was because of the steamboat. Not all of the things that I ate on the steamboat were bad, but I think it was the seafood, because I was the only person that was eating those oysters like crazy, okay? I was eating those oysters and those shellfish like crazy. Because my sister-in-law and my niece was like eating the beef and the chicken, and they were fine. They were completely fine. But I was just hamming. I was going ham on the seafood. And I was the only one puking my guts out that night. And I was like, well, hot diggity. Life was really not looking good for me. So I was like thinking, okay, fine. I'm going to eat my charcoal. I'm going to like drink some salt. Like drink some 100 plus or whatever I have in the house, just so I could survive. And I was like thinking, okay. So what? My car got totaled and I got food poisoning. It's fine. So I went to bed, and the next morning I told Aoife, my niece that I can't send her because I have food poisoning. And I told her, like, hey, just ask your grandma to send you to school. And then I fell back asleep. And then around 8 something, no, not 8, I think 7 something, my mom calls me and says, like, hey, can you pick me up? I hit a divider and the tires busted open. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but could you repeat that? I must have misheard you when you said that you hit a divider and the tire busted open. I must have misheard it. You know, I did just wake up from sleep. So, but no, I did not misheard it. She really did hit a divider and busted the tire wide open. And this is my brother's car, by the way. This is my brother's Honda. I don't know what type of Honda, but it's a Honda. And then I was just like thinking, what the fuck's going on? What the fuck's happening? Because why is everything happening back to back? So I went out. In my food poisoned state, I went out of the house, went to my mom, and then we realized that my brother's Honda doesn't have an extra tire. So we had to wait until the mechanic shop was open to buy a new tire and fix it. And mind you, I'm already in the car in cold sweat because I am still in my food poisoned state. I was suffering. I was absolutely suffering. So once all that was done, tires been fixed, everything, the car, my brother's car was kind of totaled, it's not as bad as mine, but it's still pretty bad. So I was just like, you know what, I just want to go home. let me just go home. So I was like, okay, fine. Me and my mom arrived home, and then I went to my room and I was just like, I'm just gonna take a nap. I'm tired. I'm really tired right now. Life is really dragging me down straight to hell. Let me just take a nap. So when I took a nap, I woke up and I was like thinking, you know what? I feel refreshed. Let me just clean my room. Like, let me just do something. So I feel productive. So I feel in control. And I went to open my room door, twisted it about, and I realized, holy shit. Because now I am stuck in my room. My doorknob is busted. And I was just like, God really does hate me right now, because what in the fuck is happening? First, there's a flood. Number 2 is a car accident. Number 3 is number 3 is the food poisoning. Number 4 is another car accident. This one is self-car accident. And number 5, I'm stuck in my room now. Literally. So then I had to wait for my mom to call the door person to open the door, because I was fully willing to just break down the doorknob. But my mom was like, no, the doorknob is expensive. And I was just like, fuck expensive. Just break down the doorknob. And so we waited for the door specialist, I guess. He came, he fixed it, and then he charged us 90 ringgit. And I looked at my mom thinking, like, see, if we just bought a new doorknob, it would have been far cheaper than paying him to open the doorknob that we currently have. Because now 90 ringgit is gone. Like, if you just let me smash the doorknob, we would have just paid 30 ringgit, you know? But it's fine. So, back to my original mission vision statement of this vlog. Suffice to say that my glow up series did not happen, or I am revamping it and starting over again, because life just got to me. Okay, I was depressed, I was anxious, and I just didn't want to do anything. So I'm revamping the glow up series. So this glow up series that I am revamping is basically just the same shit I'm gonna do just right now. Basically, like, the original plan was going to start in January, where I do my glow up series and like vlogged everything, but that didn't go through. So I'm just gonna start now. Like in April, I'm going to start like vlogging my me applying for jobs. By the way, in terms of the job section, I have been sending my resume everywhere. Nobody's getting back to me. So I thought to myself, okay, it's been like 6 months at this rate. We have been sending resumes and CVs to every company available in Miri, and none of them have gotten back to us. And I have tried JobStreet, LinkedIn, my future jobs, e-recruitment and everything. I've even submitted my CV straight to the company itself, and nobody's getting back to me. Recession is really sucks, guys. So I thought to myself, like, okay, since nothing is working out, why don't we go to ChatGPT, because they already have my resume. I uploaded it there to ask how I can improve it. Why don't we ask ChatGPT to give us recommendations of free upskilling courses that we can take to really vamp up, really give my resume that pop of color that it needs, you know? So I did that, and I'm gonna follow exactly what it recommends me to do, which is why I'm gonna vlog it, just to see, like, does it work? Does it not work? Is the course like worth to try? You know, it's not like I'm doing anything in my life anyway, you know. I'm being unemployed and all. So that is the plan. In terms of working out, since I haven't paid my gym in 3 months, and the gym has been calling me to pay them, but I don't have the money to do so. So fuck that. I'm just going to go to morning walks, I suppose, in Bulatan, because I currently have this, I guess, monthly basis of sending this old lady, okay, that's a bit mean, this lady to like pick her up and send her to her job and her home. So I have to send her by 8:20 to her workplace. So I guess, you know, since I send Aoife around 6ish, and then I have like an hour and a half of free time, like, why don't I use that time to go for a morning walk? And then after I send her, I can like either continue to grab or go home, do some chores, you know, whatnot. So that is the plan, because nothing else is working right now. So yes. What else? In terms of my reading update in Q1, only now I'm starting to sound professional. So in Q1, I did not achieve any of my target at all, because as you know, I was depressed. But I did read like 4 books in 3 months, 2 in January and 2 in March. The rest I DNF'd because I just wasn't feeling it. The few books that I remember that I currently either pause or DNF is I Think You Should Talk to Someone by Lori Gottlieb. The reason I paused this one is because I just really don't feel like reading self-help / a memoir right now. It's just not my vibe. I'm just not in the headspace, basically. I'm not in the headspace of wanting to read her book specifically right now. Another book that I DNF'd is The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, and this was a recent DNF. The reason I DNF'd this book is because I just didn't like the writing for now. So I don't know if it's the writing, if it's me, or whatever, but I just don't feel like reading it. Because sometimes when you read books, you want to read it, right? You want to open the book, you want to open your Kindle to continue reading. You have that curiosity for the plot, for the characters. But for me, when I read it, I had no idea what's going on. I don't know if it's like the writing style or like how maybe I just don't relate, I don't understand, I don't know, but I'm just not getting into it, and I don't want to ruin my momentum right now because I'm only starting to actually get back into reading again, so I don't want my momentum to be completely ruined. So yes. The 2 books that I finished in January, number 1 is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. I gave this a 5 out of 5. I completely loved it. Honestly, it's been so long that I kind of forgot my review because I didn't write it anywhere. But I remember thinking that if the character arc for Elizabeth was not written well throughout the whole book, if we didn't follow her through her journey to single motherhood, her experience in sexism, misogyny, and everything else that she experienced in her life, the hardships that she had to go through, the ending wouldn't have worked for me. If I read the ending without reading the journey to get to the ending, I would have hated it, because it's very happily ever after fairy tale-ish type of ending, you know, where she gets what she finally wants. But because we follow the character arc, we follow the journey that Elizabeth went through and all the hardship, the ending really felt well earned, and I just wanted her to be happy. I was rooting so hard and so much for her that I just wanted her to be happy. Please just make this woman happy, because I've had enough of the hardship that she went through. So 5 out of 5 for Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. And the second book that I finished is Days at Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa. So I liked it because, I don't know, it's very slice of life. It's a very Japanese type of book. Excuse me. It's a very Japanese type of book. It's very slice of life. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a very cozy read. Nothing really happens, but a lot happens, and I feel like that's just life. Like, a lot happens, but nothing also happens, so I don't know. But it does make me want to visit Jinpocho the next time I go to Japan. My God, I've been talking so much that I can't talk anymore. But anyways, I like all the characters in this book because they read like actual people who are going through their own things and just happen to bump and befriend each other. Although I have to say, I can't understand Momoko and Satoru's love because, damn, bruh, that man has the patience, and I could really never, because... But it's also kind of romantic because it's like he waited for her. He trusted that she would come back because she said so. And he waited, and she really did come back. And I'm just here like, my anxiety-ridden self could never. So I gave this book a 4 out of 5. So the next book that I finished is 2 arcs. I received this arc ages ago, but again, depression. So yeah. This one is Your Rule to Break by Rachel LaBerge. I have read a few of her other arcs and a few of her other books as well. I didn't like the novella though, but I think that's because I didn't read the main story, so I just couldn't connect to the characters. But that's not the point. The point is Your Rule to Break by Rachel LaBerge. I really enjoyed it, so much so I wouldn't have finished it in a day if I didn't fall asleep. So as per usual, I really enjoyed the healthy relationships, romantic as well as friendships displayed in the book. Why I say as usual is because in the previous book we also see a lot of healthy relationships. There was also like a few unhealthy dynamics in terms of family in Emily's, which is the female main character's family, but I mean, family's complicated, so you know. Although I do have some qualms, like a bit of cons about this book that I didn't really like. For example, I wish we delved deeper as to her relationship with her sister Eliza, Emily, by the way, again. I wish that the author went deeper into Emily's relationship with the sister, because I felt like there was a slight disconnect on why the sisters aren't as close. I mean, I can infer why, but it would be better if there were more instances in the book that showed there was miscommunication or like something happened, because it didn't really make sense to me why Mitch would date Eliza so soon after breaking up with Emily, and why Eliza and Emily are so distant when there doesn't seem to be any bad blood between them. Like, they're not exactly nasty to each other. So I'm just confused why they aren't close. Is it because of the parents? But the book doesn't really show it either, you know? Yes, things got resolved when Eliza had a panic attack induced by her undiagnosed OCD, but that's pretty much it, which for me felt kind of flat, but that's not the whole plot, so I didn't put too much stock into it. The bombshell that was in the book was truly a bombshell for me. I think I am too jaded and cynical about men to truly believe a man can be good, and it's due to that bias I completely did not see the plot twist. And I was just kind of like, oh wow, I'm a misandrist, I could say. So seeing the plot twist as it is, I was like, I did not see that. So this is like spoiler alert. So if you do not want to be spoiled by this book, no, not buy this book, for this book, do not watch this section. I truly believe Zach's dad cheated and his mom didn't know anything, so it's quite refreshing to find out that his mom knew everything since day one and the dad never cheated. It's just that his girlfriend, when the parents broke up, never told him about his other son, which kind of brings me to the question of why didn't the mom, like the baby mama, didn't tell him he has a son, like a second son. Like, again, I can infer, which is not to ruin his marriage and whatnot, but at the expense of depriving your son a father, it's a bit much, you know. So I really hope it's going to be explained in the third book in this series, which I also have, and I'm going to read after this book. But it's just weird for me. Like, why wouldn't you tell your son? I mean, why wouldn't you tell your baby daddy that he has a son? Like, I don't like that trope. It's just selfish for me, you know? I don't understand it. Like, did you try? At least if she tried telling Zach's dad that, hey, you have a son, yeah, pretty much like you have a son, like, what are you gonna do about it? If the baby mama like went to Zach's dad and said that and he rebuffed her, then that's fine. That's completely fine that they don't have a relationship. But she didn't even try. So I'm just confused. Why? Because the implications of that is quite dark, you know? There's a lot of questions. And I don't like the questions that I'm having. So overall, I gave this book pretty high. I gave this, I think, a 4 out of 5. I still recommend the book. It's still a fun read. The plot is solid. Everything is solid. Characters are good. I really like the whole enemies to lovers trope. Not enemies to lovers. This is not enemies to lovers. I like the fake dating trope. That's my favorite trope. I like the fake dating trope. I think it's cute. Other than the implication of Zach's dad not knowing he has a second son. And as well as there's just some things. It's not big. It's just like some things in the book that if you put too much brain cells into thinking about it, it's a bit sus. That's all I'm going to say. It's a bit sus. Okay? So, the next book that I finished is Your Secret to Keep by Rachel LaBerge, and I did not enjoy this book as much as I'd hoped I would. I felt like the plot was slightly lacking, but maybe that's just me. The previous book, which is Your Play to Call and Your Secret to Keep, no wait, Your Rule to Break? I'm getting confused. Yes, there's Your Play to Call is number 1, Your Rule to Break is number 2, yes. So the previous book had my favorite tropes, plus this book has Leah having anxiety and feeling like she is too much or doesn't measure up, and it irked me. Not because I don't like reading about women having vulnerabilities, but more towards I don't like reading about women having anxieties and insecurities over their own worth, because I feel the same way. I read to escape, so when I see the main character is going through the same issues that I am in the real world, I don't want to relate. Like, not that I can't relate. Not that I don't empathize. It's more like I don't want to empathize. It's like, my life is shit. I don't want to read a book and be reminded that my life is shit, you know? That's basically the premise I'm going on. So, perhaps, like, another thing that I thought, maybe the reason why I'm feeling this is maybe because I see these characters who have similar things, similar beats in the plot that is very, very similar to my life, like having anxious and anxiety and depression and whatnot and whatever. Seeing them have a happy ending and seeing these characters see the light at the end of the tunnel makes me feel horrible, because I still have yet to see the light at the end of my tunnel. So I kind of like have haters mentality for it. It's just kind of like, why does this bitch get to be happy? I'm not happy right now. I am in the struggles. I wanted cuddles, but I got struggles instead, okay? I wanted cuddles, not struggles. But life just did not go the way I planned it. So yeah, another thing is, aside from that, I felt like this book didn't have much going on, as in there wasn't much drama, there was no suspense, there was no stakes, it was just a lot of nothing. So yeah, it was just a lot of nothing for me. I'm just kind of like, kind of boring actually, and which is surprising because the first two books were great. There was not a lot of drama either. There was not a lot of external drama, but it worked for me. I don't understand why this third book didn't. I just felt like the drama just felt so inconsequential. Like, is it even a big deal? And it's still not resolved why the mom did not explain her reasoning as to why she didn't tell the baby daddy why they have a kid. Oh, by the way, this is like the third book is about Zach's half brother. Yeah, I was hoping that it was going to get resolved, like the whole why I didn't tell your dad that you exist, but it was not resolved. It wasn't even brought up, so I was just kind of like, maybe that's also why I didn't like this book as much, because I was hoping like the mom would explain herself, because the implications is really serious, but she was off on holiday in Hawaii, so at least I think it was Hawaii. I don't know where she was on holidaying, but in this book she was on a holiday with her girlfriends and she didn't explain anything. She didn't explain shit. So yeah, I gave this book like a 3 out of 5, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Oh yeah, I gave this book like a 3.5 out of 5. I mean, I still would recommend it. I would still recommend this book for people to read it. Like, it's still okay. Like, it's still an okay read for me. I still kind of enjoyed it. I just wished the questions that I had were answered, but it wasn't. And basically what I'm trying to say is I still recommend this book. It was not for me, but it was still an okay book. That's it. So I guess that's it for the update. I've been yapping for like 40 minutes right now. So to recap, my life has gone to hell, but I will improve it slowly, hopefully. And if anybody's watching this, pray for me, because life is hard. And in terms of my reading update, I finished 4 books, and I'm going to do another video of me discussing what is my plans for the quarter 2 reading goals and how I'm going to go about it, because I feel like I have nothing left to lose, so let's just go all out. Okay, bye.